and tell them the topic.
Right.
Are you able to reveal the topic? Or?
Yeah. Well, basically, we're looking up at, is Bermuda dealing with green? It's green versus greed.
Yeah.
Which is basically the essence of the debate. Is, are we really pushing forward this green agenda, or
Greed.
is our primary focus greed or profit?
But once you talk about the bottom line, people tend to focus on that, and if they think it's profitable to go green, then they will.
Yeah.
But see, we act as if, right, money actually sustains us. It's like Al Gore in An Inconvenient Truth. So he puts up a balance. And one side you have money, and the other side you have the earth. So if you don't have money is one thing, but if you don't have an earth, then what?
Yeah.
And we really have to look at that.
Yeah.
There's some startling facts about things. We're talking about clean drinking water is going to be a huge issue across the board. And a very short, people are talking about 30 years.
Well, it's already happening in certain countries now.
Yeah.
Their water supply is so limited, and that's why I was saying earlier how they looked upon the fact that we harvest rainwater as, wow, they're so ahead of their time, and we're stepping away from it.
I don't know what they said about, money is the root of all evil, or the best
Love
things
of
in
money.
life, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. The love of money is
the root of all evil.
Yeah.
And the best things in life
Are free.
Okay.
See, no, we have, no, I'm going to throw another one in there, right? I'm going to throw another one in there, right? Less is more.
Yeah, right. That was the theme we had.
Right? Now, we are the most supreme beings on earth. We're in the midst of an information age, which means like never before. We have any information that we need at our fingertips, right? We call ourselves intelligent, which means that the wiser we get, the more we should be able to do with less.
Yeah.
We're actually doing the reverse. Our budgets are getting bigger. We're seeing a whole lot of decline once we have a whole lot more. So we're proving the theory, but in the reverse of it. And we really need to start to look at that. I told Sherry J on the radio today, right, that when the tsunami came, right, there was no wildlife killed. Which means that they saw it coming, and highlights that we didn't see it coming.
Right.
So if we didn't see the tsunami coming, what else do we not see? Because we tend to have this feeling of invincibility. It won't happen to us, not us. Right? So we're living lifestyles that are undermining, right, the mere fabric, right, of our sustenance.
That's
we're
not
withering away the state. And we're acting like it's okay. And we're not connected with it. And it's not us. And so on and on and on and on and on.
But again, how do we get people to to be accountable for this stuff on an individual basis?
Yeah, well, one of the things, for example, Earth Hour, we were sort of involved in Earth Hour, and the goal there originally, or the goal has always been, is how can you as an individual do something in terms of with global climate change, because a lot of people really sort of say, hey, either it's a phenomena, it's so big, I'm not an industrial plant, it's not really involved me. But, really there we're just saying shutting your lights off for an hour, or just being conscious about the amount of energy you consume is one way of doing it. The other things that we're trying to do is obviously getting back to the information side of it, because we're in the information age, there's also a lot of misinformation. And that's one of the things Greenrock is trying to do, is provide information that's Bermuda-centric, meaning that it's information that's useful for Bermuda. And then the other thing that we're really trying to do as well is through persuasion, both in the public sector and in the private sector, because as you pointed out earlier, if you can show a company, and we have a green office initiative that's very successful. We're working with hotels and some of the big landowner, what do you call them? Landlords. And trying to show to them that it makes a lot of sense for them to look at energy savings, water conservation, look at ways, and going one step further, look at ways where you can make your buildings far more healthier. because that's the other thing that's sort of emerged is asthma and other things, because there's a lot of toxins in offices when they especially get built, and not a lot of people are aware of those toxins. So we're trying to sort of work through that in the background.
All right, viewers, feel free to call in whenever you are ready. In fact, it's just about 8:30 now, but we're going to go to a break, and then when we come back, we're going to open up the phone lines.
Let's Talk is a ZBM News 9 presentation. We continue in a moment.
Hold on tight for a World T20 blast in the biggest cricketing spectacle of the year. Rivalries will reignite. Heroes will fight for their nation's pride. Legions of fans will come alive. Passions will soar to new heights.
ZFB TV7 has the exclusive on West Indies 2020. 2 matches daily through Sunday, May 16th.
Get on the road to South Africa. As we build up to the June 11th kickoff of FIFA World Cup 2010. ZFB TV7 is your World Cup station. Catch all the World Cup trivia on Power 95 and FM 89. And don't miss our World Cup television series, Tuesday nights. HSBC proudly presents live coverage of FIFA World Cup in association with the Colonial Group, where people come first.
We return now to Let's Talk with host News 9's Gary Moreno.
All right, quick change in plans have been made to understand that tape is in fact ready, and it's called The Story of Stuff with Annie Leonard. I'm not going to go into any huge introduction. Let's just roll the tape.
You can see it from there, but real good.
Do you have one of these? I got a little obsessed with mine. In fact, I got a little obsessed with all my stuff. Have you ever wondered where all the stuff we buy comes from and where it goes when we throw it out? I couldn't stop wondering about that, so I looked it up. And what the textbook said is that stuff moves through a system from extraction to production to distribution to consumption to disposal. All together, it's called the materials economy. Well, I looked into it a little bit more. In fact, I spent 10 years traveling the world, tracking where our stuff comes from and where it goes. And you know what I found out? That is not the whole story. There is a lot missing from this explanation. For one thing, this system looks like it's fine. No problem. But the truth is, it's a system in crisis. And the reason it's a system in crisis is it's a linear system, and we live on a finite planet. And you cannot run a linear system on a finite planet indefinitely. Every step along the way, this system is interacting with the real world. In real life, it's not happening on a blank white page. It's interacting with societies, cultures, economies, the environment. And all along the way, it's bumping up against limits. Limits we don't see here because the diagram is incomplete. So let's go back through. Let's fill in some of the blanks and see what's missing. Well, one of the most important things that's missing is people. Yes, people. People live and work all along this system. And some people in this system matter a little more than others. Some have a little more say. Who are they? Well, let's start with the government. Now, my friends tell me I should use a tank to symbolize the government, and that's true in many countries and increasingly in our own. After all, more than 50% of our federal tax money is now going to the military. But I'm using a person to symbolize the government because I hold true to the vision and values the government should be of the people, by the people, for the people. It's the government's job to watch out for us, to take care of us. That's their job. Then along came the corporation. Now, the reason the corporation looks bigger than the government is that the corporation is bigger than the government. Of the 100 largest economies on Earth now, 51 are corporations. And as the corporation has grown in size and power, we've seen a little change in the government where they're a little more concerned in making sure everything's working out for those guys than for us. Okay, so let's see what else is missing from this picture. We'll start with extraction, which is a fancy word for natural resource exploitation, which is a fancy word for trashing the planet. What this looks like is we chop down the trees, we blow up mountains to get the metals inside, we use up all the water, and we wipe out the animals. So here we are running up against our first limit. We are running out of resources. We are using too much stuff.